So at that time, 24 years ago, working second day, fresh lick in Japan, Club Nature, one of the hottest clubs. Big shout out to Frank for letting me work there. Not only work there, he let me sleep in the club because I didn't have a house. Big shout out to you. Anything you want from me is that's a solid. Any solids, I'll do you a solid anytime. Going back to that night, first night working around 4 a.m. in the morning, head in the bathroom by some chick. I don't know who she was, but she was like, yo, let's go. And it's like, yo, whatever. Head in the bathroom. Straight sloppy toppy. It's like, yo, welcome to Japan. I think that was her kind of a greeting. It was wonderful. It was head in the bathroom. But at the same time, that's when I got acquainted with another dude. He was like, he saw us go in the bathroom. He was like, yo, what's up? I ain't know the nigga. And he was an average fiend ass nigga. Came in the bathroom like, yo, I want some head too. And that's what happened. You know what I'm saying? Shorty blessed both of us. You know, it was what it was. You know, it's some shit that you do in the hood. You know, but it wasn't the hood. It was a totally new country. You know, I don't glorify it, but it was like a welcoming party. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to my niggas. We still friends to today. Um, Still a fiend ass nigga. You know what I'm saying? Yo, speaking of another African dude, there's a lot of African dudes out in Tokyo, and I respect them because they work hard. They work hard for their families. Whatever job they're doing, I respect the fuck out of African people because they work hard and they stick together and they have their communities, and I respect that. Shout out to Wada. You know, Wada was the front door gate man slash hustle man. And he used to have this big, fat, white woman, you know, as a girlfriend. And I asked him, yo, what's your girl's name? He used to call her Beef Eater. And the shit was funny because that was the name of the alcohol, the vodka called Beef Eater. He says, yo, Beef Eater is coming today. I want to make sure she's all right, you know? And I used to laugh at that. Wada put me onto game on how to make extra bread. He said, you gotta hustle, you gotta work hard, you gotta do what you can to survive. So Wada was basically my kind of a sensei when it came to the hustling in Japan. You know, in Japan, first off the lick, he was the sensei. So he had the plug. I don't need to mention everything that he had, but everything he had was legit until one day he was like, yo, I gotta go. He suddenly disappeared. Shout out to my guy. He went back to Africa, built his house, and, had his family. Not sure whatever happened to Beefeater, but, that's what happened. Okay, back to the block. Front of Donkey Hante. Pulling in customers. Occasionally, I would get tired. And I would go up into Donkey Hante, and chill on the relaxed massage chairs. At that time, they had massage chairs where you could just rest, and people would sleep on those chairs for hours. They would just sleep on those chairs, and no one would ever complain. If it would have been America, they would be like, sorry, excuse me, man, you would have to go. No one would ever complain. It got to a point where the massage chairs were all busted and beat up because of the wear and tear from people sitting in the chairs. I remember, having like 2 pairs of socks and one North Face jacket, black, that was fake from 28th Street in New York. At that time in New York, they used to have all the bootleg gear, you know what I'm saying? So being an avid hustler of the bootleg gear, coming to Japan, I had the fake North Face. It was still good, but it was a fake North Face. And me going to Donkey Honte, putting on kicks, and walking out the store with the fresh new Jordans on. And it was crazy at that time because the technology wasn't as good as it is now. So, being that said, it was easier to boost. It was easy to boost. If you don't know slang or lingo, it was easy to shoplift at that time because there wasn't no cameras. And I ain't had no kicks, so had to make do. And I don't glorify it, but this is just a means of survival at that time, you know? So boosting kicks from Donkey Honte. Let me know if you ever boosted something from Donkey Honte, whether big or small. All right? Now, a lot of people say, oh, your story's bullshit. Where did you sleep? They asked me, where did I sleep? And the question was, I worked at Nature at nighttime, pulling in customers. I made the equivalent of $60, maybe 8,000 yen a day. Frank paid me 8,000 yen a day in cash. And inside the North Face jacket, I used to put the water money. I put the money inside the coat every day. I never really spent any money. I didn't spend any money. I had my plane ticket. I had my passport. I had all my important inside of the pocket. And after work, it would be roughly around 5, 6, 7 in the morning after cleaning up. I slept in Starbucks. Okay? I would go to Starbucks early in the morning. And I will buy one green tea and one banana. And then I would go upstairs and I would to the second floor and I would sit down and I would eat the coffee and the banana. That was my food. That was my breakfast. That was my routine. Day after day, homeless on the street. Day after day. And one day I was sleeping and a man tapped me on my shoulder. He said to me, man, I know you. You all right? I come and see you every day. You doing the same thing. You all right? You all right? And that's when I realized that I was homeless. I was homeless. I didn't have any home. And speaking on that is like, how did I take a shower? How did I wash up? Well, inside Starbucks, they had a bathroom. I would go in there and do bird baths, throwing away socks in the garbage, changing my underwears, making sure that I was clean. You can still be homeless and be clean. You don't have to be dirty, because my mom raised me right. She said, whatever you do, make sure you have clean socks on and clean underwears on, no matter where you are, because you don't want to die and the doctor's examining and trying to take off the funk from your body. So that's a message to you. Okay? Speaking on that. All right, going down to the next one. I like to say there was a lot of characters. One of the characters that stood out the most and still stands out the most is Creddy. Shout out to you, Creddy. Creddy was one of the OGs. He I don't know whether he was from Brooklyn or he was from like South Central LA, but he had the characteristics of both. He was like an OG. At that time, he was an OG, and still to this day, one of the last few original Americans out in Japan. Creddy was like, he'd give you the look, and he was like, yo, what's up? And he had that voice like, yo, what's up? Peace, God. He was on that peace, God, kind of movement. And he's still to today. And Creddy has not changed. He had gold teeth. He still rock gold teeth. And he'll be quick to knock a nigga out. That nigga one fist bigger than the other. And he, what I'm saying? Shout out to Creddy. I respect Creddy because Creddy, he was at that time where, shit was hard for Americans. It was easy. I feel it was easier for Africans to make it in Japan than Americans because Americans don't stick together. And that's a point that I'm gonna bring up. Black Americans don't stick together. We don't have that unity, you don't have that bond that brings us together because of the hardship that was placed upon us during slavery. Okay? So that's why I feel it was harder for Americans to survive here in Japan because everybody was on their own, whereas the African or the other Asian communities were sticking together. So when I met up with Creddy, it was an instant bond. Peace, God, blessings, King, blessings, King. And learning to, have that mutual understanding of respect. That's what bring us together as men, as Americans here in Japan. So being that said, that was kind of some of the details of what happened at Club Nature. Uh, shout out to the bartenders. Shout out to Romano. Shout out to Arheni for being the original cast